As with any good project, it starts with planning. I laid out the design that I wanted. Here you can see the chalk lines of the outline so I can start the bricklaying. This is my first time ever dealing with any kind of bricklaying or masonry work. I did a bit of research before just to figure out the ins and outs of it, and it seemed fairly simple. There's a lot of videos and information online that show you in more detail how to do this step, so I'm not going to go too much into depth on the process I went through. Due to the slope on the foundation, I ended up having to put mortar on the first and second courses just to get it level. You can see the angle iron in the back I'm using to stretch across. I put a level on it just to make sure everything's level left to right and front to back. After the first course was done, I was still about a 1/4 inch out of level, so I decided to mortar in the second course as well. This was done over a couple of days. I let the first course dry for a couple of days and then came back to the second course. Not necessary, but I had the time, so I figured why not. Here you can see I put in rebar into any overlapping voids on the blocks, and I filled these first 2 courses in completely with concrete. Probably an excessive amount of concrete waste, but I wanted to make sure the first 2 courses were solid. From the third course up, I dry stacked all the blocks, and any void with rebar going up gets filled with concrete. All the ones with no rebar are just left empty. The next step is spanning the gap above the fireplace.
In order to recess the angle iron, you have to grind the block away in 2 different directions so that it sits nice and flush. When you install it, you'll need to grind coming this direction and this direction. But as you can see, you want to leave a little extra space, because if this were out here, as soon as you recess it in to fit it in there, you need to come a little bit farther to be able to get it to seat. So I just went a little bit farther on both angles. To add a little bit more stability, the bottom row across the top of the fireplace, I ground through all the bricks in the row, and a piece of rebar will go all the way through, and it'll create one solid block. I'm going to fill them all with concrete, just that bottom row, and it'll be one nice solid piece.
And now it's dry fit time. This first brick goes in pretty easy, and I actually had to cut down the other side just because of the distance. So you see I cut the end of that block off. The last block's a tight fit. I ended up having to go back 3 or 4 different times, grinding down that brick that I cut off just to make sure this would all fit properly. Here I'm prepping for concrete. I just cut a piece of 1/2 inch plywood that fit under the blocks. I'm just clamping it in place now. The rebar fit in nicely. I was a little worried that I might not have cut all the holes in the center. You work out any air bubbles and then do a really good job scraping all the splatter off the top of this, because you're going to dry stack the next course. And that's the end of the base. I've got it mocked up here. I'm trying to figure out how I want to actually do the flue system for the fireplace around the pizza oven. So I've got a couple of ideas mocked up. If you'd like to follow along as I finish up this build, the rest of the videos will be in a lot more detail. Click the red subscribe button below the video, and if you want to be notified anytime I upload a new video, go ahead and click the bell and you'll be notified anytime I upload. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below and I'll respond as soon as I see them.